Blueface stepping into the ring for the first time in 3 years and walking out with a loss has the internet exploding. Big-name rappers like Drake, Lil Baby, and even Chrissy and Rock have all had their say, roasting him hard and exposing every flaw. Fans, fighters, and even his own manager joined in, and the reactions are wild. Today we're breaking down every jab, every disc, and all the fallout from what went down in Miami on March 14th, 2026. The reactions keep coming, and trust me, you don't want to miss what these rappers said about Blueface's loss. Blueface entered the ring Saturday night during Aiden Ross's Brand Risk Influencer boxing event in Miami, marking his first fight since knocking out Ed Matthews in 2023. This was supposed to be routine. The rapper arrived at the matchup expecting a routine performance before a larger scheduled bout in May, but his opponent Chibu had other plans. Now, before we get into the reactions, you need to understand the full context of what led up to this fight. Blueface was getting back in the boxing ring on a Brand Risk Promotions card, a fight series run by Kingston Ross out of his compound in Miami. The rapper made headlines earlier this year when it was confirmed that he would take on former NBA champion Nick Swaggy P. Young on May 2nd in Miami. That fight was already being promoted. Tickets were already on sale. And the plan was for this Brand Risk appearance to serve as a tune-up fight, a warm-up to shake off the ring rust. Ruger vs. Blueface was the plan for the main event. But his sparring was so bad that the fight was cancelled by the commission, and Chibu was drafted in. So the fight changed at the last minute. Instead of facing another rapper, Blueface ended up matched against Chew, a popular streamer who had his boxing debut with this match. But here is where the context matters even more. Blueface had not competed in 3 years and looked noticeably different from his last appearance. Once a lean middleweight, who weighed around 157 pounds, the rapper appeared significantly heavier after bulking up during time served in prison following a probation violation tied to a 2021 battery case. That's a significant change. When he fought Ed Matthews, he was a lean fighter at middleweight. He came back as a heavyweight. The rapper's time training with names like Floyd Mayweather and Keyshawn Davis had led some to rate him as one of the top influencer boxers. He has always had the height for boxing, but early in his career, he fought at middleweight, so there was a lot of confidence going in. Blueface had the credentials, he had the training pedigree, he had the track record with a knockout win over Ed Matthews. He was the favourite. Despite the size change, Blueface started the fight showing solid technique. In the opening round, he used his reach and boxing fundamentals to control distance and land cleaner shots than the less experienced Chew. Round 1 looked like what everyone expected. Blueface was faster, more technical, and dictating the distance. But things changed in round 2. The turning point came in the second round when Chibu trapped him against the ropes and fired off several body shots. One of those exchanges knocked Blueface out of the ring, though it was not counted as a knockdown by the referee. That moment is the clip that went everywhere. One viral moment that has everyone talking is when Chibu appeared to knock Blue out of the ring. Blue said it was a push, but viewers aren't buying it. They are standing 10 toes down on the fact that Chibu knocked them down. From that point forward, the fight belonged to Chibu. From that moment on, it looked more likely that the rapper would be stopped rather than the streamer. In the final round, there was a series of punches in the corner that nearly prompted referee intervention. Despite showing signs of fatigue later on, had Chibu managed to do enough to win all 3 scorecards against a surprisingly durable Blueface, who took everything coming his way. When the judges' scorecards were announced, Chibu earned a unanimous decision victory. And that is when everything started falling apart, not just for Blueface's boxing career, but for his relationship with Aiden Ross and the Brand Risk promotion itself. What happened after the fight is what turned this from a boxing story into a hip-hop story. The California rapper expressed disappointment over the loss, both to Ross's face after the match and during a live stream. Let's go through the exchange step by step. A clip from the post-fight exchange shared on X on March 15th, showed Ross speaking to Blueface in the ring after the decision was announced. Ross first asked whether fans could expect to see Blueface compete again in the promotion. "Can we get you back in here, bro? Can we see you back in Brand Risk?" Blueface did not hold back. Rapper Blueface accused streamer Adam Ross of rigging fight outcomes at the Brand Risk boxing event, stating he had no intention of returning to the promotion after his loss to streamer Chibu. He stood in the ring in front of the audience, in front of the kickstream, and said the following: "Hey, you know damn well you aren't going to lose your own money on your own fight card." Then he disputed the scoring. "I definitely wouldn't score that in the unanimous decision. I'd give it 42, but hey, shout out to Brand Risk." So even while he was accusing the event of being compromised, he still gave it a shout out. Or Adam Ross responded by thanking him and pressing further. He then pressed further, asking whether Blueface would want a rematch or a different opponent if he returned. But Blueface made his position clear. "I probably won't get back on Brand Risk because you're tampering with the bets. That is a direct accusation that betting activity at the Brand Risk events was being manipulated." He went even further on his own stream afterward. "I'll definitely never fight on Brand Risk again, just based on Adam's business skills." That was said on his live stream shortly after the event. No ambiguity. He was done with the promotion. Adam Ross immediately denied the accusation with repeated denials, saying never that. He further said that he had no idea what Blueface was referring to, insisting such manipulation had never occurred. As reported by No Jumper on X, Aiden Ross was visibly upset after Blueface said he would not be back on Brand Risk following his loss with the accusations of tampering with betting, adding another layer of tension. Now, for context, as of now, no official statement has been released by Brand Risk Promotions addressing Blueface's accusations about Aiden Ross rigging fights. So, the accusation is out there, and there has been no formal response. The aftermath of this exchange put Adam in a position he had not been in before. His previous Brand Risk events, including the Adam 22 and Jason Love fight, had generated headlines, but never accusations of rigged outcomes from a fighter on camera in the ring seconds after the decision was read. This is the moment that took the fight loss and made it a larger conversation, and one that brought in reactions from across the hip-hop and boxing worlds. And the reactions did not stop. Once the clips hit the internet, the reactions came fast, and they came from every direction, which makes her boxing expertise very useful for folks like Blueface who might want to level up their game. After he lost a boxing match to Chibu last night during a Brand Risk event hosted by Aiden Ross, she chimed in with some advice. Shields, the undisputed champion and one of the greatest female boxers of all time, did not just comment on the fight itself. She addressed the larger issue she sees with celebrity boxing. Egypt lost her fight, Blueface loss. I think these public figures need at least 6 months in the gym before they start fighting in real fights, in my opinion. She tweeted that on Sunday morning, lumping Blueface's loss in with Egypt, Chris's recent defeat. Her point was clear. If public figures want to win a boxing match, they need to train like fighters, not celebrities. But Shields also had something interesting to say when fans said Blueface got robbed. Well, I watched the fight, and I thought Big Boy won too. Crazy fight though. Shields responded to a fan who claimed Blue got robbed. So even the champion boxer, while giving advice about training, also acknowledged it was a close fight. That is worth noting. The fan debate has been split. Blueface took his loss to Chibu, a popular streamer who made his boxing debut against him. Many fans considered this an upset, and they continue to debate the judge's unanimous decision in Chu's favour. Social media reaction was split down the middle. The Shade Room captured the divide on their post. One commenter wrote that Blueface needed to be humbled. Another said he got robbed. The clip of him being sent through the ropes was the defining image of the fight. And depending on which side you were on, it was either a push or a knockdown. Right after the fight, Blueface jumped on his stream to talk about losing to Chibu. He told fans he planned to watch the fight again to see who actually landed more punches. He He said on stream, "It's not about how you win, it's how you lose." Then he said they would go back and watch the tape to count punches. Meanwhile, other notable brand risk 13 results included Chibu's dominant performance over Blueface in the main event and several undercard upsets that kept the stream buzzing. The event itself was full of drama beyond the main event. Despite the gathered crowd and Ross's star-studded commentary team expressing their displeasure, Gypsy Crusader was declared the victor with scores of 2,928 on 2 judges' scorecards. After the split decision was announced, reactions in the arena were quick and strong. So it was not just Blueface's fight that had controversy. The co-main event between Gypsy Crusader and Super Hotfire also had a disputed outcome. Aiden Ross went live after the event, calling the judging suspect and teasing potential rematch talks. So, here's the picture that's forming. The entire brand risk 13 card had questionable judging across multiple fights, which gives some context to Blueface's frustration. If the promoter himself, Aiden Ross, was calling the judging suspect in the co-main event, now it is not far-fetched for Blueface to question the judging in his own fight, but none of that erases what happened in the ring. From that moment, Chibu controlled the fight. Blueface struggled to deal with the pressure as Chibu kept pushing forward. In the final round, Chibu trapped him in the corner and threw a long series of punches that nearly forced the referee to stop the bout. That is what the tape shows. Whether the scorecards were right or wrong, Blueface was in trouble for multiple rounds. Blueface's manager Whack 100 had his own night to remember, and not for the reasons he wanted. Blueface's manager Whack 100 took issue with security at Aiden Ross's brand risk boxing event, leaving him out while admitting streamer N3on. Blueface recently entered the ring against streamer Shibu, and their boxing match was the big highlight from Aiden Ross's brand risk event last night. However, it seems like Blue's manager Whack 100 had some trouble getting into the event, and he didn't appreciate how streamer N3on was apparently going to get in first. DJ Academics caught a clip of the altercation on Instagram. In it, Whack is arguing with security guards outside of the venue, as they apparently were not letting him in yet. Instead, one of the guards said they would bring N3on in first, which the executive took issue with. Whack said, "N3on isn't more important than me, respectfully. Think about that." The manager of the main event fighter, the man whose client is about to headline the card, is standing outside arguing with security while a streamer is being walked in ahead of him. Still, it's kind of wild to see when you consider their differing positions. Whack is one of the boxer's managers, whereas 3ron is just a streamer. Of course, everyone was able to get in at the end, so nothing alarming or combative happened, but the optics of it made things worse. Here is the main event fighter manager, already frustrated before the fight even starts. And then his client goes in and loses. After the fight, DJ Academics called Blueface's manager to talk about what happened. Whack spoke on the event and what happened to his client. "I had Blueface 4-2, he said. Overall, the West Coast executive thinks the judges were wrong here. That should have resulted in a Blue win or a split decision. It was his first fight ever as a heavyweight. So, and even Whack 100 is saying Blueface should have won or at the very least gotten a split decision. He pointed out the weight class issue. Blueface had never fought as a heavyweight before. The transition from middleweight to heavyweight is not something that just happens overnight. And the added mass, while it makes you bigger, does not automatically make you a better fighter at that weight. And then there is the NLE chopper element. NLE Choa, who has recently begun calling himself NLE the Great, revived his long-running tension with Blueface over the weekend. What had seemed like a cooling-off period between the two rappers shifted back into public view when Choa posted a challenge on X on Sunday, February 15th. In the message, he urged Blueface to get in the octagon. This challenge came just weeks before the brand risk fight. The history between these two goes deep. The friction between the two dates back to late 2023 when personal tensions spilled into the public sphere. Reports at the time suggested the disagreement escalated after one of Choa's children's mothers declined Blueface's advances. It went through music with a long-running dispute between Blueface and NLE Choppa, resurfacing following the release of Choppa's new track, Shot 8. It went through social media. It even went through their children. Earlier this year, in a video that circulated on social media, Choa rejected a proposed fight with Blueface and instead made comments comparing their toddlers. Eventually, soon after Javon accepted the challenge, NLE walked back his threat and apologized for bringing the kids into his beef with Blueface. "I and Blue are handling that FSFS." He wrote, "Last time we had words, he apologized for bringing my mom in stuff. I owe you the same respect. I apologize for what I said about your son." But even after those apologies, the beef continued. The challenge in February, just a month before the brand risk fight, shows the tension never fully went away. And now, with Blueface losing to a streamer in his comeback fight, the power dynamics in that rivalry have shifted. NLE Choa challenged Blueface to fight him. And Blueface could not even beat Chibu. That is not something that goes unnoticed in hip-hop. Porter has since announced on social media that he is not the biological father of Christian Jesus Malone Jr., and he recently reignited conflict with Christian Rock by once again claiming their son Christian Jr. is not actually his, which he has already denied. So, on top of the boxing loss in the NL Chu situation, Blueface also has the ongoing Cry and Rock drama adding noise. None of this exists in a vacuum. The fight loss is not just about one night in Miami, it is connected to everything else going on in his life. The rivalries, the accusations, the personal drama, and all of it are now coloured by the fact that he lost to a first-time boxer on a streamer's fight card. The biggest question coming out of this entire situation is whether the May 2nd fight with Swaggy P still happens. Blueface had already signed to face NBA player Nick Swaggy P. Young on May 2nd, 2026 at the James L. Knight Center in Miami. With tickets already on sale and promotional materials circulating, questions loom about whether this lucrative matchup will proceed. That is not a small event. This loss for Blue against Chibu casts uncertainty over the rapper's previously scheduled May 2nd bout against former NBA champion Nick Swaggy P. Young at the James L. Knight Center in Miami, an event that had already begun selling tickets and receiving heavy promotion. From a promotional standpoint, Blueface just lost his tune-up fight. The entire purpose of the brand risk appearance was to build momentum and shake off ring rust before a bigger event. Instead, the opposite happened. Blueface showed tonight that he's still got work to do before stepping in with an NBA champion, even one making his boxing debut. Industry observers wonder if the rapper will seek tune-up fights to rebuild credibility or attempt to move forward with the young bout regardless. Either path presents challenges for Blueface's boxing career trajectory moving forward after this embarrassing loss. If he fights Swaggy P and loses again, his boxing reputation is done. If he pulls out of the fight, it looks like he's running. And if he tries to schedule another tune-up fight to get confidence back, there is a 7-week window to do it, which is barely enough time. It is a difficult position to be in, and the loss to Chibu created it. The weight issue is also a real concern. Across the fight, Blueface looked more polished technically, but Chibu carried real weight behind his punches. Boxing has weight classes for a reason, and moving up so many divisions can be tough to overcome, even outside the professional level. Multiple observers pointed this out. Blueface was a middleweight at 157 pounds. He came back as a heavyweight. That is a jump that professional boxers rarely make, and when they do, it takes years of adjustment. For someone returning from a 3-year layoff with prison weight, it was always going to be a challenge. Meanwhile, the relationship with brand risk and Aiden Ross appears to be finished. Blueface said it directly. He will not fight on brand risk again. The rapper made it clear he was unlikely to compete again under the brand risk banner. alleging interference with betting activity and suggesting the fights were not conducted fairly. Whether those accusations have merit or not, the relationship between the fighter and the promoter appears damaged beyond repair. Chibu admitted the 6-round fight was tough and said he plans to improve his conditioning and possibly move toward cruiserweight competition. So, the man who beat Blueface is already looking ahead to bigger things. His stock went up. Blueface's went down. That is how the boxing world works. One night can change everything. And in hip-hop, it works the same way. Blueface was someone who bragged about his boxing. He sparred with Floyd Mayweather. He trained with Keshan Davis. He had a knockout over Ed Matthews on his record. All of that was part of his persona, part of his brand. And now, with a loss to a streamer making his debut, that brand has taken a hit. The reactions from people like Clarissa Shields tell the story. She was not being disrespectful. She was being honest. Public figures who want to box need to train like boxers. 6 months in the gym is not a suggestion. It is a minimum. And Blueface, whether he was dealing with the weight change, the layoff, or the last-minute opponent switch, was not prepared for what Chibu brought. The internet is going to keep talking about this for weeks. The memes are out, the clips are circulating, the accusation of rigged fights is adding fuel to the fire, and the May 2 fight with Swaggy P is hanging in the balance. The free kick stream drew massive concurrent viewers, cementing Brand Risk 13 as one of the most talked-about streamer boxing cards of 2026. Millions of people saw this loss in real time. There is no hiding from it. What Blueface does next will define this chapter of his career. Does he accept the loss and move forward? Does he double down on the rigging accusations? Does he go through with the Swaggy P fight? Or does he step away from boxing entirely and focus on music and content? Every option is on the table, and every option carries risk. The one thing that is certain is this. The night of March 14, 2026 changed the conversation around Blueface. He walked into that warehouse in Miami as a favorite, as a former knockout artist, as someone people thought could compete in celebrity boxing at the highest level. He walked out of it with a unanimous decision loss to a first-time boxer, accusations of rigged fights, a damaged relationship with one of the biggest promoters in the streaming world, and an upcoming fight that now has more question marks than ever. The internet does not forget, and neither does hip-hop. 2026